Hi everybody, Pedro, and today's video is about how to clean, lubricate your brand new gun and how to keep lubricated and cleaned afterwards. Okay, so here is a brand new Beretta DT11. So first thing you're gonna do when you get your gun, can be any gun, any over/under. You gotta get a rag and take all the grease and oil that is on the gun currently. The gun could be here for a couple of months, sitting on the shelf. You want to take that grease off of it and clean it off. So we're gonna get our grease. We use the cold grease. It's on the website. You can find it. Get a little bit on your finger, just enough, and we're gonna apply it to the face of the receiver, right here where the forend iron and the barrels rotate on. So a little bit of grease on both sides. The reason that is so important to do on this section here is because this part is polished and that's where the barrels and forend iron rotates in. So your forend's here, it fits perfectly in there and it continues to rotate as you open and close your gun. As you know, you start shooting, your gun will get hot, your metal, it gets hot, it expands, and it's gonna continue to polish itself out. If you don't have grease on these spots, what's going to happen is you're going to start having scratches in there and and also something gets stuck, anything gets stuck in there, you're going to have deep scratches. So it's very important to lubricate this section here to keep the rotation and the polishing that happens as you shoot to polish itself properly. Then I am done with my receiver. I don't put anything on my cocking rods. I don't put anything on the face of the receiver because I don't want the parts that move in and out from the receiver to pull that grease into the trigger. So I just put it right on the front. After that, I'm gonna get my barrels, I am gonna get my rag, and I'm gonna wipe off anything, any signs of grease and oil that has been in there. Wipe it all off, get it nice and clean. And you're gonna get your grease again. So on the barrels, I am gonna do where the hinge pins go into, right? These circles here, your over-unders, most of your over-unders will have the same thing. They all have hinge pins. So you're gonna apply right to the hinge pin right there, turn it around, apply it on the other side, right there. Then we're gonna go to your forend lug right here. You're gonna do a little bit on the front and a little bit on the back. Lastly, this gun here has a cross locking bolt that goes over these teeth right here. I think it's easier to see this way. You have the two teeth on both sides. The locking bolt goes over it. The locking bolt's brand new. The gun has not been shot, so it's gonna go in and out and continue to polish itself. Sometimes brand new guns, especially competition level guns, are gonna be stiff to open. That will help you polish it properly and become softer to open properly. So make sure you put a little bit of grease over those two bites of the locking bolt, 1 and 2. That is all the grease I'm gonna use. Then I'm gonna get my little bottle of oil, also on the website. Put one spray on one side, one on the other. I'm gonna get my receiver, put my barrels on. And here's another thing, if your barrel doesn't just pop in easily like this, you're doing it wrong. Start over. These guns are precisely fit. They should just slide in easily. If you're struggling and forcing it in, you're doing it wrong. Start over, okay? Put your barrels on, your forend, grab your rag, wipe off the excess that's gonna come out from the sides. From the sides here, the top of the barrel. Now you're gonna work that in a little bit. So open and close your gun very softly, okay? And that's it. Now, brand new gun, that's done. You're gonna do this every single time you're done shooting for the first 1,000 rounds or so. Go out, shoot, come back home, clean it all off, reapply grease. Competition level guns, Beretta DT11, Zoli, Perazzi, Blazer, Krieghoff, they are precisely fit guns and they're supposed to last a very long time, okay? So if you do this every time you shoot for the first 1,000 rounds or so, it's gonna cause the gun to polish itself in the way it's supposed to. Instead of having deep scratches on the metal, instead of the barrels being dry and forcing itself, you wanna make sure it slides in and out fairly easy. After your 1,000 rounds, you should continue to clean your gun every time you shoot. So it's very good to do so. Now, cleaning your gun after you're done shooting. You're gonna take your barrels off, you're gonna take your chokes off. I personally like to use a snake. Drop it in, take your chokes off, drop it in from the front of the barrel and pull it towards the back of the barrel without the choke, so you clean the thread. And yes, chokes do need to be cleaned. You have to clean your chokes. People are gonna say, well, Peter, I never cleaned my choke before. Start doing it. You need to clean your chokes. Carbon buildup will happen out inside of the choke. Okay, so you need to clean your chokes. Your chokes, if your chokes are silver, it should be silver forever. Keep it clean. If they're black, they should be a nice shiny black. So keep it clean. Clean the threads before putting your chokes back in. Apply a little bit of grease to the threads. Get your choke tube wrench, put it all the way in and crank on it. We're not strong enough to cause any damage, and the choke needs to be tight. It will prevent it from coming loose as you shoot. Later, as soon as I'm done shooting, before I put my gun away, I have a rag like this. It's a microfiber rag. And I have gun oil. This is straight gun oil. I dumped an entire bottle of this oil into this rag, and I keep one of these in a little plastic bag on my shooting bag. The reason is, here in Florida at least, we sweat a lot when we're shooting, and our sweat's corrosive to the gun. So before I go out, I shoot, I'm done shooting, before I put my gun away, I have my rag that's filled with oil. I want to see oil on my hands after I'm done after I touch the rag. As soon as I'm done, I'm gonna grab my rag and I'm gonna run, especially here, the top of the rib. I'm gonna clean my barrels completely. I am gonna come back here and I'm gonna do my top lever, my safety. I'm gonna do the bottom of my receiver, because we carry the gun like this. So I have to clean this section, and I also have to clean my trigger guard and my trigger. Now I can put my gun into the gun case, the soft case, and get into my car. You're outside, you're sweaty, your hands are sweaty, the gun, there's sweat in it. You put it into your gun case and you go home and you forget, condensation will happen, your sweat will cause the gun to corrode. So that's good practice to keep your gun clean. 2 things I do every single time I go shooting. First thing I do when I get to the gun club and I take my gun out, make sure my chokes are tight, I put my choke tube wrench in there and I crank on it. Second thing is, as soon as I'm done shooting, I clean up with this towel. I have one of these for about 3 years now on my bag. It's probably dirty, but every time I touch it, I don't know if you can see the oils on my hand. That's what I want. I want this gun nice and clean. We don't apply any gun oil whatsoever to the wood. The wood will soak it in and it will cause the wood to become weak. So sometimes you're gonna see around the edges of some shotguns here of the wood, it is really dark and black. That's all gun oil. It's all gun oil that's been soaked to the wood. So make sure not to apply gun oil to the wood, okay?